this is Joan. I hope y'all having a wonderful day. I am so thrilled. I got 8 views. Now you might say 8 views. Shoot, I got more family members than that. Yeah, you probably do. I wish I did, but I don't. But in any case, I am so proud of that. Thank you. I want to kiss and hug all of you. And please leave a comment. Please like, share, and subscribe because they are not going to promote me at all because they don't like me. And oh well, stuff like that happens. The only person you really have to worry about liking you is the Most High. And I'm trying to do what He's telling me to do. So, all right, let's get it moving. Okay, I saw this video from Dr. Shauna, and I have to say, I thought it was phenomenal. Now, I had been hearing about this Will Smith and Jada Pinkett thing, and my answer to that was, I don't care. I mean, it's not my marriage, and I wasn't having an affair with either one of them, so what do I care? And she didn't express it like that. She broke it down into economics. And that brings me to what I am saying here, what I want to say, and what I want to say much more briefly than what I said last time. She was comparing a lot in this video, African Americans or blacks, Hebrew Israelites, whatever you feel like calling us this week. She was comparing us to Hispanics. Now, I am old enough to remember my history teacher in high school saying, you know what, y'all need to all take Spanish, learn to speak Spanish because they're going to bring a whole lot of them over here and y'all are going to need to know how to compete. And we looked at him like teenagers do, like, shut up, old man. But he knew what he was talking about. But I totally agree with everything. And please look at her video. She doesn't need my help, but definitely I got 8 views to her, 2,716. But what she was saying, I think that every African American who really cares about their community really needs to know. So she was comparing blacks to Hispanics, and I'm in Chicago, and I think I said it in one of the other videos that it was amazing comparing driving down 47th Street and driving down 51st Street going west. It's like amazing. There's almost nothing on 51st Street. And I haven't done that in about a year or so, so maybe it's changed. But you go down 47th Street, it's all Hispanic businesses. And so to me, like I said, I totally get where she's coming from. I think that we are dealing also with colorism. Even among our own, we are dealing with prejudice based on your coloring. So we have impediments that they don't have. But one thing I've always thought when I drive through their communities or, you know, just talking to Hispanics or whatever, one thing they have that we don't have, and this will probably offend some people, so I apologize because I'm not trying to offend you. I'm trying to find the truth and then relay it to you. One thing they have we don't have is men. Now, you might drive down the street and say, well, what are you talking about? There are lots of men around here. But it's different. Their men stay home. They don't get up and make recordings and say, can't stand y'all Hispanic women. Nope. Nobody does that. And everybody's doing better than us. Now, I'm not saying we would be making as much or more than anyone else, but I kind of suspect we probably would because, like I said before, father, my father's people came from what am I talking about? Black Wall Street. And he wasn't even really allowed in my family to talk about it very much because my mother was very came from a light skinned family, even though she herself never considered herself light skinned, but she came from a family that valued that hue. And my father was dark, so she always kind of felt, I suspect, in the back of her mind, that she married a little bit beneath herself. But my father's people came from Black Wall Street. Now, they had been plunged into poverty before. My direct ancestors, when my something happened to my grandfather, and they had to great grandfather, whatever, they had to run to They ran from Arkansas to Oklahoma, and they ran into Black Wall Street. And my aunt had written a book. My great aunt, she wrote a book about us, and it had all these pictures. And of course, my ex-husband threw it in the garbage, and I haven't been able to get another copy of it. But they were so proud that they had been able to open a gas station, a restaurant, and a grocery store. Now, at the time, I thought, oh, she's not, she's just making this up. Black people never had it like that. Yes, we did. For right after slavery, there were a lot of prosperous small black towns. We are not strangers to entrepreneurship. I think personally it was bred out of us because as a child of the 70s, I read a lot about black history. I was very much into, black power and say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud and all that. So it was a major disappointment to find out about blue vein societies and stuff like that. But I also knew that um, we weren't something to be ashamed of, and that we had been told even back then when we were studying history that when they were um, stringing people up and stuff, that they were going after the people who were not very productive in the black community. And I suspect they did the absolute worst. Absolute opposite. And I think that's what Ida B. Wells Barnett came out. I think I read a story about how she also thought that until a couple of her friends were lynched, and she's like, "Oh, wait a minute, no, y'all trying to get the ones who really trying to do something." So by that, I believe that entrepreneurship has been bred out of us, and it has been frightened out of us, and that is why when they had executions, lynchings and things, they were public events. They weren't just public for the group of people doing it. They were public for the members of that were being of the person who was being lynched, so that they would see this is what happens when you try. And so they can't. People now talk about the Willie Lynch letter, which I don't believe is authentic. I believe it is something that has been brought on to further divide black men from black women. And that is basically what I am trying to address today. What is missing from black communities? Even with all the things that are going wrong, what's missing is black men. Now, what I mean is Hispanic men marry Hispanic women. They marry them, whatever it is they're going to do, they're doing it with Hispanics. And when I was coming up, when I was out there in the dating world, it was kind of like, yeah, well, Hispanic men want black women on the side. They want you on the side, but they're going home to mommy. We're the only race where our men want us on the side. And a lot of the ambition is on black women. So instead of promoting the people in your community who have the most drive and the most courage to get out there and give it a shot, if you're religious, you're told to sit down and shut up. And if you're not religious, you get cursed out, and told you're for feminism, which no, no, I have really never met a black woman who was for feminism. Not, no, not of any race, not of any coloring, rather. The the light ones, the mixed ones, everybody is like, shoot, we really want our men, you know. We want to be able to do things too. We don't want to be under their feet and have them, telling us to shut up, and which is to me Apostle Paul. But we also have no problem with them being the heads of the household. For fact, we want them to be heads of households. We want our man so bad, we are going and taking them out of the jails. We will wait for you, baby. We will come to your jail cell and try to make you happy. We want you. So all this talk about, oh, it's the black women running stuff. Nah, don't think so. I think that just because a person has a business does not mean that they, and like I said, I kind of question that head of the household, because if it was really that important, I think the Savior would have mentioned it somewhere in there. And if you really read the Gospels with a microscope, you see the Savior stood up for women very, very much. That's why the women were crying when he left. I mean, when they were torturing him, it's like we only have one person who stands up for us, who says, hey, how in the world are you going to tell me this woman is guilty of adultery and you want to stone her, but you don't want to you just let the man walk? How is that righteous? And this is your religious leaders. I mean, sometimes I feel like I'm truly not getting directly to the point, and this is not an indictment of black men, because I'm a black woman. I want a black man. You know, I mean, I don't know so much. Yeah, he can be. It depends on what you mean by head of the household. As far as he is the spokesperson, he is the one that you go to with like, what are our plans? What are we gonna do? Yeah, cool. You baby, you got it. And I think that that is how most women feel, most black women. But at the same time, if I have the talent to do something, well, then that's given to me by the Most High. And I think you should look at us as a team. That is, if I have a talent and it helps both of us, seems to me you should promote that talent. I sure will promote yours. But the point I'm making is that our disunity is what is really keeping us down, because we have the raw talent. That's not a problem. It's the feeling that we're worth fighting for, that we are worth it. And I think that our men definitely do not think that our women are worth it. And when I say our women, I mean identifiably black women. Now, personally, I believe if you have to ask, is this a black woman? It's not. Every other race is kind of like, you cannot call everybody one of us. That does not mean we dislike them. It's just that this is a closed group. And I think that we would do better psychologically if we did the same. If you read the books of Ezra and Nehemiah, that was it. I mean, that was, everybody can't just walk in here and claim us. So it's a lot that has to be done or looked at. But from what I've seen, they have divided us to the most basic level so that we cannot help each other. Your average woman, black woman, women in general, don't make as much as men do when they are doing the same jobs, regardless of how much they try to change that. So if your women are the ones out there saying, well, shoot, I'm black, I'm going to promote black, well, she's not going to be able to bring as much income into it as if a black man said, hey, I'm sticking with uh, Shaniqua over there. That's my woman. And I don't want to hear no shit about she ain't pretty. This is my woman. She look like me. And, anything come from me got to be good. Now, I tend to have that kind of mindset. I tend to feel like, well, all black people can't be bad because I'm black and I know I'm doing my part. So how in the world are you going to tell me, and definitely about black women, how are you going to tell me all black women are feminists and they hate their men and all this and that when I'm a black woman, I'm not a feminist, and I don't hate our men. I do wish that they step up to the plate, because I do agree that the race is led by the men. If you don't have any men, you got collapse. And that's what we have. And I have heard so many stupid arguments. I heard some guy, I think it might have been Tariq Nasheed. Now, I could be wrong. But somebody had some video of where they were blaming the looting and rioting on black women. What? How is that our fault? I personally agree that nope, this is not our place. We are women. We're not supposed to be out here doing the heavy lifting. If you go back to Genesis, God told the man, "Hey, you need to work by the sweat of your brow." He told the woman, you're gonna be dominated," which you definitely see in the black race. and you're gonna have a lot of pain delivering these children. And then, in I'm not sure which gospel it is, you have the Savior looking at black women saying, "Hey, you think I got it bad? Cry for yourself and what's gonna happen to you in the last days." Well, what's happening to us now? Well, if you go back to the book of Isaiah, it talks about baby mamas. Okay, and then I saw another video where some guy was blaming black women for abortions. Now, a lot what a lot of black men don't want to talk about is they were the ones who might have told the woman, get an abortion or we're over. I don't want no children. Or basically, I don't want no children with you. I don't want to bring this race, this next generation on through you. And people can make fun of baby mamas all they want to, but basically, if it wasn't for baby mamas, we would not have any growth. So I'm laying the responsibility for a lot of the problems you see in the black race on black men. Because with higher power comes higher responsibility. And the power has definitely been given to you, to black men, not black women. If you go back to Genesis, the Savior's curse on black women, well, I do believe Adam and Eve were black. The curse was, hey, he's going to dominate you. So you do not have the power. You don't. Period. But then again, if you don't have the power, you can't put the responsibility for everything that's gone wrong on us either. And if you are a religious sort, well, God squarely put the responsibility on the man. Through one man, sin entered this earth, this world, not through a woman. So we are not responsible for all this. We are not responsible for fatherless children. Well, the child is fatherless. He's not motherless. Mother's sitting right there. She might be overwhelmed. She might have resorted to drugs, alcohol, whatever. She is doing something she's not supposed to be out there doing. She's not supposed to be doing this. She's not supposed to be the leader anyway. But even if she is, she's not supposed to be doing it by herself. It's supposed to be two people, but you got her doing it by herself. And you got her doing it while a lot of our well paid sellouts, and I do definitely feel like anybody who turns on their own people, you're a sellout. You just are. And another thing I've noticed in the black race is when black men think about the black race, they don't think about women. They think about, like the man will say, well, it's the man who carries the gene. It's the man who determines what race this person is. No, no, look at Abraham and Sarah. Sarah even told him, hey, go have a baby with somebody else. But did God call that baby Israel? Nope. Well, of course, he didn't call um, the point I'm making is the descendants, our ancestors, did not come from Ishmael. The woman matters. I mean, I feel sometimes like black men feel, and it's not all of them, I think basically it's the ones who are getting paid, and they're getting paid a lot to betray us. Specifically black women, the ones who come out and say, "Oh, she ugly." Well, your mother, your grandmother, some female back there is responsible or had some, play or part in your being in the black race. You have no loyalty. People don't want to just come right out and say that. I don't want to come right out and say that, but we have been betrayed as women. We've been betrayed, and as black women, we are most definitely being betrayed. We have been very loyal to our men, and these. There was, I think, Paris, Milan, Chrissy, and a few other people saying, when black women don't go out there on those lines, these same men are going to turn on you. And as soon as the rioting stopped, the berating black women began. So, I believe that the only person you truly are here to worry about pleasing is the Most High. You know, you are probably going to be in some way or another as a black woman. You're gonna be dominated because it told you that hey, he will dominate you. It didn't say if you are a good woman or a bad woman or whatever you are. This man's gonna come up here and dominate you. So, you know, unless you got one who is conscious and tries to be fair, a lot of times that's all this is. And the Savior gave you the answer to all that. Do unto others as you would have done unto you. If you were a man, would you want somebody? If you were a man, I'm sorry, if you are a man, and you you look at a woman at the way you're treating her, would you want to be treated that way? I mean, would you want someone who is bigger and stronger than you? You are composed more of fatty tissue. He is composed more of muscle. So even if you're the same size, even if the woman is a little bigger, he can still take her because he's muscular. He also has been given aggression that you have not. Your temperament is different, even if you are a loudmouth, And I think that what my mother said a long time ago was that God gave women verbal defense. You can generally outtalk a man. Now that that doesn't apply to me. I can't outtalk anybody for the most part. I don't know what that is, but your average woman can say something. She can voice her pain, and that's her primary weapon. You know. So to me, all of this falls back on black men because in the book of Malachi it tells black men, and I believe the people were black back then in the Bible, our ancestors. It tells them that unless you do right by your women, the woman of your youth, the wife of your youth, I'm not even going to hear your prayers. So I think that when people are talking about the few religious ones who are like, we need to fall back on our knees to the Savior, yeah, we do. And we also need to recognize that there are two. It's not just men. God didn't just leave Adam alone in the garden. He put Eve there too. And he didn't say, hey, walk all over her. She ain't nothing. No, he did not. He said, hey, well, he made her number one from his rib. Now, if you think about it, his rib was like something that had already been processed. You know, like he had already taken the dust, he made the man. The man is a complete process. So he took the woman, let's say the man has been refined, he is refined dust. So he took the woman, he didn't take her completely out of the dust. Part of her is refined. She has already been refined. She came from the refined, something that had already been completed in Adam. And the rest of whatever else was done, I guess she came from the dust also. But that rib was already done. My point is that women, when they are allowed, bring a certain amount of refinement into men's lives. Now, it depends on the woman, and maybe that's totally veering off the subject. But if you see a group of men, and this might be back in the day, but you see a group of men and they're out on the street getting loud. This is when they had, yeah, this was back in the day when they had some respect for women. They're getting loud and acting crazy. Or better yet, let's say you have a man and he invites his friends over and they trash the room. Well, I don't know how it is now, but I know generally back in the day it would be the women who come in and go, what in the world happened here? We have to clean all this up. We cannot live like this. We have to do better. I think the woman is always there saying do better. And I think that also is probably the reason why you see women, black women, being the most educated. Because as a group, we are trying to do better. We're not trying to do better than the men. We are trying to make conditions better. Most of these women, most of them who you see out here trying to get educated and get better jobs still go with black men. Now, as opposed to black men, you give them, my thought is you give most of them $2 and a blonde and they gone. Doesn't even have to be a blonde anymore. You can give them Hispanic or you can give them Asian. You give them anything. You give them a mixed race black person. Well, mixed race person with black ancestry. They are gone. And not only will they leave, they will spit back at you. Now, I'll say this briefly, but Gail, Oprah's Gail, got into a lot of trouble just for asking Kobe Bryant a question. And I thought, I think that Gail, for her age, she looks really nice. And I think that our men don't look at us and see anything but somebody to throw out on the front line, something to throw away. But in black women, like Paul Mooney said, you throw black women out, you throwing away big butts, big breasts, um, big lips. You throwing away a whole lot when you throw us away. And also, we age very well. I look at Sarah in the Bible and I think, wait a minute, this woman up here in her 70s, 80s, or something, and her husband is still saying, you gotta tell people I'm your sister, cause they gonna come after you. We age well. We have assets and we are loyal. We have assets our men are paying absolutely no attention to. But the Heavenly Father is. And He's saying, hey, I gave you this woman who looked like you. Now, if I didn't want her to look like you, I wouldn't have made her from the same ground I made you from. And I wouldn't have taken your rib. Because personally, I believe that there were other people here besides Adam and Eve. Um, I looked at Zechariah Sitchin and the translation of the Sumerian tablets, and I believe that that is telling you that, yeah, when Cain said, well, if you throw me out, these others are going to come get me, he wasn't talking about his brothers and sisters. Well, not totally. Maybe some of them, you might be a little upset somebody kill your brother, but I think he was talking about a whole other race of people. But that's another story altogether. My ultimate point is that a lot of this depends on black men. I mean, if you are a religious black man, you have to remember that God did not take Ishmael. He did not say, hey, a Keturah, that's who Abraham married after Sarah died. He didn't say, hey, I'm taking my seed from them. It had to be Sarah. And if you look at Judah and Tamar, well, Judah was married before, and God did not accept his children either. Okay? It had to be Tamar. And Tamar had to dress like a hooker to get his attention. So don't come to me and tell me about, oh, I can't stand these black women, they dressing like hookers. Well, if we don't dress like hookers, you don't pay us any attention. You go find other women who dress like hookers and pay them attention and call them your beautiful black queens. So you have insulted us as a race very, very much and very, very hard. And I'm not here to insult you back. I'm here to say I feel that you are probably at least contributing to the hold up and us getting out of here. Because God said, I will not answer your prayers because you dogging out the daughters I sent you. So if you could ignore the sellouts, because anybody who come back and tear their own house down, the house that promoted them is a sellout. If you can ignore the sellout and go find one black woman, just one, who you can get along with, and both of you playing, well then we got Black Wall Street wherever we are because we have the talent. All we need is for our men to come back. You know, I'm not caping for you. I don't believe in that. I believe, if they don't want you, they just don't want you. The only person you really have to please is the Most High. But you're slowing us all down. I mean, we're stuck here and it's going to get worse. So, anyway, and I always mean to say, please like, share, and subscribe because they aren't going to promote me. They never did. And also, please look at Dr. Shauna's video because I thought she gave some really, really great points. And she's so animated. That's so cute. Well, anyway, thank you for listening. I can't believe it. I mean, I was so happy to see somebody's listening to me. Oh my God. Thank you, Father. That's just wonderful. So, of course, that's a responsibility. My responsibility is to try to tell you the truth. I am not a very technical person. I'm an Aquarius. I believe that there is structure to the universe, and that is part of it. But and Aquarius is supposed to like um, computers and things. As a general rule, I don't. You know, so I'm doing my best. Maybe I'll get better. But in any case, please like, share, and subscribe. And I wanted to tell that joke again. I just love that joke. I think that came out when I was like 7 or 8, where a woman or a man or somebody, I know I said it before, but let me say it again. She was standing before the judge, and the judge said, "How do you plead?" And she said, like this: "Please, please, 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 judge, please." That just cracks me up. Well, anyway, please indulge me. Consider what I'm saying, and you guys have a wonderful day.